Hello! Hello, everybody! So, this is an impromptu video, and I have with me the gorgeous Calico Von Melostopheles, and I have my uncle Mikkel, and I have my sister Star with me. So, what are we talking about right now? We are talking about
Tomfoolery.
tomfoolery indeed, but warranted
The Black
tomfoolery.
Avenger.
So yes, the Black Avengers, and before we start, I wanted to mention, I wanted to mention how Amber Ruffin, and I forget the guy who was on her show. He came out with a song because they do come out with songs from time to time, and Von Melostopheles reminded me of the song, and it was a song that they had wrote in response to the storming of the Capitol. And
Uh-huh.
how did the lyrics go?
Hold on.
What the lyrics were? There's what is it? Joy and a little bit of shame. I'm feeling mostly joy and a little bit of shame, but mostly so much joy. But mostly so much joy. Okay. And that was really about being kind of enjoying how it is that for so long. And here's the thing. Let me preface this. If you are someone who buys into this stuff and you act a certain way and you feel better than groups of people, then I fully intend on, and I believe that you're going to take this negatively. You're going to feel some type of way about it. So if you want to be upset and you want to be a froggy and leap, know that it's only because you yourself are condemned about what's being said here. So you shouldn't take offense to it if you yourself aren't condemned by the thoughts that are being expressed here. But if you are, feel free. You can leapfrogging, but I can leap too. Let me continue. So the Capitol was stormed by all of these white people, and there is this perpetuation of how black people are animalistic and how it is that we don't think and that we're all primal and that we're disgusting in certain ways and all of these negative perpetuations. No, not every white person does this. I know I have to say this because people will fucking piss their panties if you don't. But I know that not every white person says this, but it is something that is perpetuated even amongst people who claim to feel positively towards black people. It comes out in the weirdest ways. Racial bias exists even when you care about people who are in said brackets, and we know this. We've seen it. Microaggressions,
Yes.
all of that. So you see these individuals talk about how animalistic and stuff, like I mentioned, black people are, but you don't see how they did things like smeared shit on the walls. When have you ever seen there being, and they just stormed the Capitol like savages? But somehow that's not how they're seen, is as savages, these individuals who perpetuate these mindsets. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I want to talk about us to talk about how we felt about, or how we feel about the Montgomery brawl. So I guess
wish I could be there to get some.
So I think it's a good conversation to have, and I know that there are I've seen some of some white associates and individuals who I consider somewhat friendly, who are like, why are they laughing? Why is this so funny? Why are they enjoying this so much? And
maybe because it's been done to us since the beginning of time.
And openly.
okay,
Openly.
or,
That part.
okay. So that being said, I would like to start off with the one who's not saying the most currently, and that would be Sai. What's your take on this?
Oh, got called out.
I know, I got called out. Well, it's just the fact of, like, when it comes to this, it's like I'm used to it, kind of. In that I've lived to, I guess there's a way that I present myself that I've never, like, to my face, I've never seen it, but like you can see the. Okay, I'll give an example. I had my hair out straightened, and I remember a caseworker coming up and seeing a white caseworker coming up and touching my hair and saying, "Wow, your hair is so long. How come your hair looks like this and others aren't like this?" And like it was like, ah,
Like,
you work with black children, foster children at that, and this is your mindset. It's like it's like if this is what they're actually thinking, but they'll say it to someone they feel comfortable around, type of thing. You know?
Well, that's because they have a preconceived notion of who we are as a people.
Exactly.
That we're some little, dare I say it, jungle bunny in the bush.
Mm-hmm.
That we're all nappy headed and
Mhm.
bones in our noses, and I mean, if you just look throughout history how we're portrayed, even before they started putting black people on film, they would do blackface and imitate what they thought of us.
mm-hmm.
You know, um, me being a person of multi races, um, I grew up in an all black household, but I'm not naive to the fact that I could pass minus my hair and facial features. Okay. I grew up in a modern day world where my parents are as dark as you, Coco,
Mm-hmm.
but because I was fair skinned, was told that they couldn't use the bathroom, but the little white boy that you got, which you could. Now, mind you, I had an afro.
Wow.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, yes. And I'll go on record and say I'm 53. This
Mm,
happened when I was 8 or 9.
mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like people forget that Ruby, she's still like 60s, in her 60s, and she was the first child to, desegregate. Like, and it's like people forget that. Like they think they think it was so long ago. This woman isn't even in her 90s, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I
It's,
think I think the thing is why they act the way that they do with us. And I think we had touched on it the other day, Coco, was is that they, if not you, it was somebody was saying they fear us because they know what they've done to us.
mm-hmm.
And they
Mhm.
fear that retribution is coming
Mhm.
back to them.
Right.
Mhm.
We were actually,
You know,
yeah, I totally agree. And so, um, I'm gonna touch on that, but I want to say, okay, so it's not like, oh, we love to see people get hurt and harmed. It is
Mm-hmm.
definitely from a place of, you see, where the security guard is just trying to do his job, and these white people mobbed him, like they
hmm
ganged up on him, and it was several of
hmm
them, and they didn't need to do that. But it makes you wonder, why did they? We could say, oh, alcohol all we want to, but just how
Yeah.
they treated him, it
Well,
definitely
alcohol, they
points.
always say a drunk is always tells the truth. Like, that's their true self coming out,
Right.
yeah,
you
So
know?
it's just
Yeah.
like,
alcohol lowers the inhibition so that they, like she said, so that my mom always told me a drunk person will speak their sober mind.
yes,
Mhm.
I
Mm-hmm.
totally
Mhm.
agree.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so you have,
So
Mhm.
yeah, you have to
you you
go ahead.
introduce the alcohol into the situation,
Mm-hmm.
and now we got our chest puffed out. So we got that liquid encouragement,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mhm.
know, and then somebody popped your bubble.
Right.
He popped your bubble, and then he popped a couple of more bubbles, but it took 10 or 12 of you to take down one man.
Mm-hmm.
Why it need to be that many? But if the role was reversed, why can't you take your loss and go on about your business? Why couldn't you take your loss and go on about your business?
let's question this. Let's put this on the table. Imagine if that was a white security guard and that individual got mobbed by black men. I That is the question mark. What would the narration of that be?
Oh, they
And
just set that town on fire.
you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And that's the thing. And it's just, and I think what really triggered these individuals, the black people who saw and were bystanders, and you could see in the video that some of them were like, "Man, I just wish I would have got my tag in," And there were even black security guard officers or cops who kind of laughed because they knew what it was. It's not laughing at someone being hurt. It's laughing at, you don't want to poke the bear in the zoo. Black people are not. They are not violent people by nature. This is what circumstance we have been put in. We've had to
But we're
fight
getting
against each
fed up.
other. That's not who we naturally are. And
No.
so, because if we were, then believe me, the white power structure that exists would not exist if we were that savage. If we weren't fun-loving, peaceable people generally. So for them to really be chomping at the bit to kick some ass, it is very much about all the times where individuals felt their hands tied and they're watching how the white power structure squashed their people to look like them, people and their families on a consistent basis. And if they were to buck against that system, then it would come down on them super hard. This is, to me, a sign of where people are now. There was a time when I was younger that we wouldn't have done that. We wouldn't have brawled quite like that. Yeah, we had Rodney King, and that's when folks were snapping out of it. Snapping out of the fear that society tries to breed into black people and people of color. But now we have this Gen Z. People like to talk about how stupid and lazy and crazy. But these kids, these young individuals are not that. Not like they think they are. They're paying attention. I think a lot of people are pissed off towards Gen Zers because Gen Zers are not buying into the bullshit anymore. And they're
No,
like,
they're not.
ain't gonna be no going back. We gonna blow this whole bitch up. We all dying. You know what I'm saying?
There it is.
Why do I have to
By
suffer
any-
like you do?
Oh,
Right.
what you say,
I
though?
said, why do I have to suffer and take and swallow what you didn't want to take and swallow?
That's
What? Why? Just why?
Right.
Right.
so. I just, it.
Especially, I think, with not following the regular structures. Like, our parents always were like saying, get an education, go to school. And it's like, no, be in debt, like, you know what I mean? Like, so many young people are finding other ways.
And,
Yeah.
and here's the thing. Here's the thing. Even if we did follow structure now, that structure is not benefiting anybody who's coming in. It's not.
No.
Now, what's going to happen in human nature, what we do, adapt. We adapt. That human nature and the foundation about adapting through what we got, because what we got ain't benefiting any of us.
No.
That.
It's so true.
Feel free to just chime in whatever you're thinking as long as it's relatively respectful. I know sometimes
no.
we
Oh,
sometimes we want to say some
I'll just
stuff.
say,
Like,
keep it down, I'm just, I'll keep
Yeah.
it real. I'm keeping the
Yeah.
dust down.
Well,
Yeah.
it's. I feel like I'm from a generation. Okay, where the Gen Zers are now is that you can't pull them over and say, "Get out of the car and do what I tell you to do." Just with the cops, you can't do that to them anymore.
Right.
They're so aware of the laws, what you can and cannot do.
Start
That
recording right away.
yes, we're in the age of social media. Which, as they always said, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Imagine what a 5-second video is worth.
Okay.
And you can't dispute that you're a racist piece of shit. And that crosses all lines because I know some very racist black people. I'm from a generation where my parents taught me that whatever the cops said, you didn't look at them, you looked down and did whatever they said. Did
I
if
can.
you
Oh, go ahead.
if you go to if you go to jail, go to jail. Don't fight them. We will come get you out.
I just know, and I was raised with that myself. Let me slide in and just kind of, you know me, I'm semantical with certain things, and I know that there are many people who identify as white who will disagree with me, and I'm looking at the camera. Well, my avatar did for a split second, but I'm looking at the mic. Let's pretend like me looking at the mic is me looking at you.
Okay.
People of color who are not considered a part of the power structure, cannot be racist. Prejudiced, yes, to a certain, prejudiced in various different ways, yes, but not racist, because we do not hold the power within the system. So I'm reiterating this. We don't hold that power. If we did, then how we moved would be racist, because it would hold you back systemically. However, the things that white people can hold black people from, it hinders us systemically. That's the whole premise of racism. So,
Like redlining. Example is redlining.
so I don't care how many
Or
times we
like
get into,
loans. Loans
yes,
from banks.
yes. So anytime we get into an argument, I'm going to, if you refuse to acknowledge the fact that people of color who do not get the same kickbacks as white people in the white power structure, cannot be racist. They can be prejudiced all day, and they do exist everywhere. But racist, no, I just can't accept
Okay.
that. So, but please continue.
Okay.
And that's not me bashing you. That's just
Oh
me,
no.
yeah, yeah.
No,
So,
enlighten me, because these are things I normally don't discuss with people. It's like like religion and politics. I
yeah,
don't really discuss them
yeah.
because it's such a touchy subject. Um, okay, so I see the difference, but bottom line is
Yeah.
we've been taught in a certain structure manner, or a manner of structure, that you should always be subservient to our Caucasian counterparts.
I mean, I see it when I walk in a store and like I'm standing there and a white person come up and they more attentive to the person that came after me.
Yep.
Yes,
It's like, am I not standing here?
That.
that part.
Or even, hey, Coco, you are so different than the rest of them. Oh my gosh, I just feel like I can talk to you. You're like, you are an Oreo. I just feel so comfortable with you. I feel so comfortable with you, Coco. Oh my gosh, we're really cool. I really dig
guys,
you.
you guys,
We're great
We were
together. Like,
Then don't take a
until you said
picture.
them.
you're one
Because
of the
I
family,
want to know.
Coco.
I want to know who them is, who them and they are.
That's the question. And how do you?
Those people
Yeah.
over there. Who are they?
Like, who is you talking about? Like,
Because when you say that and I look over there, I see a group of you.
right.
The other thing I hate is that we all look alike.
That I've heard
And
that before.
I think white people look alike more.
they
I mean,
do.
like,
I
They
don't
do
know
and they
about all
don't.
that.
that's
I ain't.
what I'm like.
I don't speak
I,
about it. I don't know. I mean, because there's some people who say that a lot of Asian people look alike. I don't know. I see the
Oh,
differences
well,
myself.
like,
this
let's
is
not.
right.
So that's why I say I don't know. I'm not. What I'm saying is
I
to
don't know.
me.
I live in New York City, so we're like, we got everybody here.
Hmm.
So, I mean, yeah.
I
They,
want to say
like,
they
I
do
would
and
say
they
that.
don't.
I feel like
Yeah.
this. If you're from if you were born and raised in an ethnicity, you can see differences easier in that ethnicity than you do outside of it. It's because the more you're around something, the more you can differentiate things. Like, that's part of the
Yeah, I
reason.
see what you mean by that. I see that. I see
You know
what
what I'm
you mean.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
of course, it would be easier for maybe, like, you see a group of friends, and, like, let's say they're all Asian, but in, like we could see, an Asian. I'm saying this. Listen, hear me out. I'm not going in a weird place. Like, and they're all Asian, but somebody's from Malaysia. Someone is from Japan. Someone is from China. Someone is from is Vietnamese. But they all see each other and they're like, "You must be Vietnamese." They can tell the difference because that they are aware of the different
Yeah, it's like
nuances.
the way that the eyes are slanted. But
Right.
then
They can
it's
tell those
kind of like
differences.
fake
Yeah.
too, because it's like, no, that's not even 100% for everybody.
What?
Like even sometimes they're wrong by saying
Yeah.
that. Like,
Sometimes they are wrong. Heck, we wrong. Oh, what you mix with? Native American? No, I'm mixed with black.
I mean, like it's just like how like my sister is lighter than us, but she came from the same two people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just that black people can make any type of race,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah. The
Well,
energy.
okay, well, historically speaking, depending on who you listen to, all races sprang from Africa, sprang from
Of
the
course,
black
yeah.
man. So the fact that you want to oppress a
Hmm.
person or a group of people because of the
That you
color
come
of their
from.
skin, exactly. Me
Mm-hmm.
and Coco was just talking about this the other day. When I went away to Job Corps many, 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 many moons ago, and they took us by to an African history museum, which was eye opening. They took white and black together, and
Hmm.
the stuff that was unveiled to me, like it was posed to us that I'm gonna say this term loosely. Our white brothers and sisters are the genetic defect of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
But wouldn't
We
that?
we
Sorry.
drove them out into the Caucasus Mountains where we get Caucasian from.
That
And
I
then they bred within themselves and made a solid race. That's what was proposed to us. Now go ahead.
I don't I don't know. I don't know about all that, but I have heard it. I've heard it. I'm not saying
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that's not something I latch on to. And
But what I was gonna say is, wouldn't that make sense though?
I
Like
mean,
the amount of hate, if you were outcast, what
yeah.
would you come back and do? You know what I mean?
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just like not to have the not to be. Well, I was, what? Let me not say that.
You know what
Well, I
my
was saying, because I was gonna say like those school shootings, like those
Mm,
kids always come from a pain of not being,
accepted.
being accepted or being left out, or
hmm
and so it's like that type of anger that's built that
Yes.
they want to destroy. That has
Yes.
to come from somewhere, you know,
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
and
You know, I
so.
feel you. Like this is my interpretation of how a lot of this basically started. Um, you have individuals getting together and realizing that there's more power in having a empire and owning more land and subduing more people. And the more of that you have, the more power you have, the more, and power corrupts absolutely. I believe that all ethnicities started, no matter where you are, started off with a thorough appreciation, and I told Unc about this, a thorough appreciation of humanity, and believe that everybody deserved, basically everyone deserved life and liberty, and deserved to have jobs and take care of their families. But those individuals who were corrupted by power decided to like do things like use religion. Religion itself is not a bad thing. It's when you what you use it for makes things bad. So they decided to use things as tools to subdue individuals. And in doing so, they had to sell to them a mindset of, okay, you have to cast off your natural humanity, your natural appreciation for life, your natural appreciation and love for others, and respect for them as you would want for yourself. And you have to adopt that you are better than them and that their life means less. And because their life means less, they are worthy of being your property. And so that takes their humanity away from them and also gives us a large base group of people who are loyal to us and seek to have power connected with us. And things like patriotism and nationalism became a really strong thing because of that. And it's that want to be a part of that system that forced people to drop their natural appreciation for humanity and kind of ascribe to this monstrosity of a lesser version of love and humanity, and subscribe to fake civility, and just so that they could cater to the system. And so that gave them a different type of humanity that allows them in their minds, in their hearts, and in their psyches to accept a kind of brainwashing that on several levels undermines other people. And that's how I view what happened. And once you get that system going and it gets thoroughly perpetuated, it's hella hard to get out of because it's so subliminal in so many ways, from the structure of our faces to the inflection of our voices. People hang up on you because they think you sound black, um to how it is that we're a little bit more boisterous because we still have a certain type of connection to natural humanity. We live in our joy in a way that a lot of our white social structured counterparts don't, because they have lost that. They look at us like, damn, they so fun. You could be too if you were to drop all the bullshit. And I think that's what that is. Woo, people are not going to like this video, but I don't give a fuck. I'm still going to post it. But yeah, so like, I really think that's real.
Yeah.
And so in saying that, I feel like white people, those who ascribe and identify themselves by the white social power structure, the Anglo-American world power, I feel like they're, in a lot of ways, they are victims too, to a certain degree more, because at least we still have our understanding of humanity and we still cling to that. And they are the ones who have lost it, and they it's just like, we look at, let's take a small subset sect. Men are taught not to feel. They're taught to provide, conquer, not feel. Feeling is bad, let's be logical. But because they have so many skewed and fucked up emotions that they're not assessing and dealing with, and that they have to tamp down, they're completely fucking miserable. And it's showing in society.
Don't cry. You just get up and go.
It's just that it's showing up. And I feel like it's a smaller version of the bigger picture, even though that's a huge issue too. And let me get off Coco's soapbox. Please feel free to speak.
You're good.
So. Well.
So back to the riverboat.
Murphy.
Yeah.
So the question that'll be posed is, and not just by us, by anybody who sees that video, who watches that video, were people of color wrong for what they did? Were black people wrong for what they did? Was the white people wrong for what they did? I must say, maybe if we had just kept our hands to ourselves, none of that would have happened. like I was telling you yesterday, for every action is the opposite and equal reaction.
Yep.
So if you walk up and slap the lion in the face, what do you think the lion is gonna do?
Right.
He gonna slap you back, and then he gonna maul you. But in most cases, because people buy into a certain social structure or social ideology, they feel like, oh well, because I'm this color, I'm white, I'm right, I'm superior, so I can walk up and slap shit out, slap the fire out your mouth, and it's gonna be okay, and you're not gonna do anything about it. I think that was an insight to what we're not gonna allow happen in this country. We're not finna go back to those yesteryears.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Gen Zers are definitely not going to go for it. By any means necessary, we'll take this place down to the ground and we'll start over again.
There you go.
Um, do I think it was a sad situation? Yes. But as I was watching that video, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go down there and slap me a couple of people too. I'm not gonna lie. I want to go down there and put my hands, get me some in on some folks. Um, I think a lot of people ran out there and they was doing things that they shouldn't have been doing. Um, like, okay, so when the security guard was doing his job
Mm-hmm.
and he was securing, this man ran up and slapped him. His reaction was, "Oh heck no!"
Right.
And he tossed his hat to the wind and he slapped him back. And then the guy got in another punch, and then he mollywopped him. Well, we can't let that happen. So then here come a couple of other people and a couple more people. And then you look up and it's about 10 or 12 people on one person. You want to get mad and say we was wrong for a mob situation, but who started the mob? Um, so then you have another group of people that came down and said, "Oh, double heck no," and started slapping people. And I was like literally watching like where people was like, "That's a woman. You shouldn't hit a woman." But didn't she run up and hit that man in the back of the head and then she got knocked down? And my mama always told me, if a girl hit you, she knew you was a man when she put her hands on you.
Mm.
I
Take
can.
that for what that's worth. Um, I feel like this. If you bring a knife to a gunfight, you deserve whatever happens to you.
Mm.
I cannot disagree with this.
I really
You
cannot.
know, I mean, it may be
I
wrong.
think it's a part of fucking around and finding out.
Yes.
Oh,
Mhm.
honey, somebody fucked around. A whole lot of fuck
Mhm.
around happened, and a whole lot of found out came along the way.
Like,
So, you know, that was definitely evident. We as a people are not going to just idly lay by or sit by and let you F over us anymore.
People are tired. People are tired.
Tired,
Like
period.
what I
We're just
saw,
tired. Go
what I
ahead.
saw, and what I heard. What you guys heard in correlation to all this, and then also within their video, I saw
Mhm,
that you got on one side, the drunken
mhm,
group. I'm trying to be clean with it because I gotta be patient.
yes.
Um, they don't like seeing us living our lives. They do not like seeing us enjoying our lives or just mind our own business because there was no way that man said anything else other than do his job and move on. And then y'all hit that nerve. Like, I'm gonna beat my frustration onto you because I can. And that's what happened.
That.
Because you could, you broke one of the camel's backs, which been broken for years. It was just, we're, I will have to say, there is a resilience when it comes to black people. There is. Because we know what it's like to lose. We know what it's like to lose a lot, but we also know what it's like to gain. So we know that life is very, very fragile. It's very fragile. But
Hmm.
to y'all see it as just, oh, life can handle it. Oh no, not today. You messed around and found out that life can be easily taken from you as well.
You know, that's like I heard a comedian make a joke that he was talking about all the shootings and killings of little black boys and girls by cops and whatnot. And he said he felt like, there can be no equality until we shoot a few little Toms and Kevins and Grants and Olivers and stuff. You know, we're just tired. Like you
Hmm.
said, we're tired as a people. We're just
I,
we swallowed your BS for so long. Now we're regurgitating it.
I'm gonna take it even deeper. Not just tired of the violence and how lackadaisical the response is to the violence that we experience. Not just tired of the violence that the power structure has perpetuated within our communities, but we're tired of how it is that the power structure dictates to us how we need to look and how we need to act and how we need to be. It dictates where we live. It dictates what jobs we get. I get it. Yes, things are better than they have been for many black people, but in a lot of ways, it's very circular and not. Um, we're tired,
Hmm.
and at some point, that jovial and soft and kind nature and that okay, you keep perpetuating us being the problem thing, it's no longer acceptable by any measure. I tell you, um, it's so deep. It's so deep that you even have individuals who claim to be allies who will sit across the table from you and talk to you and throw about 100 microaggressions at you in one discussion. It's just that deep. And then when you speak on it, they want to get they you get to see them return back to their privilege. And they fire up and flame at you as if you've done something horribly wrong, because the worst thing that they can be identified as is prejudiced or racist. So
Or that
everything you're saying,
condescending
and so we're tired of that. We're also tired of having to help educate you when you have that information at your hands and your fingertips. Just like there are things that we don't know that we do the research to go find for ourselves about our history, maybe get off your ass and do the same. Why is it always left to us to teach you about the shit that your ancestors perpetuated on us?
Because it's his history. It's in the word history. His history. He wrote the book. He's telling the story the way that he wants it to be narrated. I mean, we talked about that a little bit yesterday.
We did.
Uh, we did. I mean, if you look at Florida, let's look at Florida. It's anti everything down there.
I know, anti every
It's
damn thing.
it's you ain't lying. It was like
It's
it's
so
so
true.
anti. It's so anti. Even the locals are like, if we don't make moves, this is
Right.
what we're gonna get. Go ahead, go ahead. It's a
Like
whole.
we have a sister, we have a sister that is so miserable. She lives in Florida and she's so miserable right now living there.
Yes.
So miserable because it's like, what the hell is going on? Like,
Right.
it's like, and it happened so quick overnight. Like, it was
Because
like, you
it's
know?
it's it, it's not just DeSantis, it's his little groupies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's like
Mhm.
when all this stuff was panning out, um all the Latinos, the Cubans, the Mexicans, the Venezuelans, the whatever they were down there. Um,
It's so
it's like,
scary. It's so
but
scary
but
though.
it's like you sit there and say you penalize the companies
Mhm.
for bringing in illegal workers. Okay, you do all of this, but this country alone is founded on the blood, sweat, and tears of illegals, as well as the African American community. Okay,
AKA the colored. The
And
thank
colored.
you.
indigenous.
The indigenous. We're not even going to talk about how they came over here, messed with them people, took them off of their stuff, and said, oh, "Okay, we're gonna give you this little plot of land over here because that's all you deserve." But all this is theirs. But we're not gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about Florida that is anti-gay, is anti-black, is almost anti-woman.
No, almost. If folks got to
It's anti
go,
everything.
Everything.
it's
It's
anti education.
Mm-hmm.
exactly they. And here's the thing: they're trying to restructure the education system because we can't. They don't want us to learn Black history because you don't want us to know what was done to us. It's keep us dumb and ignorant. Keep us dumb and ignorant and keep them out in the field singing and humming. That didn't work for you the first time around because we used the humming and the singing as a means of communication. What do you think we're going to do this time? You know, there's a lot to be said about knowing where you came from to know where you're going. And that's why it's book banning. We can't have these books over here. Why? Because they telling the truth. What are you hiding? DeSantis and his groupies, if you look at what happened with them and Disney, with like you tried to seize control of Disney because they was pro black and pro gay and pro. Well, that doesn't fit in what we want to do. So we're gonna go over here and do this. You're an idiot because then they turn around and they use the very laws that you tried to use to stop them to prevent you from stopping them. And then with your dumb, I'm gonna just say this and you might have to cut me out later.
No, no,
With your
no, 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 no,
dumb
no, 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 no.
with your dumbass actions, with your book banning, you messed around and banned your own book. Now, what are you doing?
That's
what, are you,
hilarious.
what are you doing? You are so busy trying to ban books to protect your ideal of what white culture is that you banned yourself. You're so smart, you're stupid.
But that's the
You
thing.
you messed with Disney and Act and One that until there's no longer a legal living monarch in England, you can't touch them. They gonna operate and go on just like they want to. How you so smart? You're stupid.
It's hurting so much over there to the point where you thought that every white person wanted to be the lower grade of workforce. Come on now. What did you expect? You fed the narrative of them being so awesome that they don't want to work this minuscule work that other people are able to do and can do and do better. But at the same time, now their workforce is just like it's just in in
There,
the ground.
it's
It's
not.
just
It's
there.
everything has halted.
Yes.
You have caused multi-billion-dollar corporations billions and billions because you're on your little white supremacy soapbox. Okay,
That's
you
wild.
it is so messed up. And that's something that we as the people across this nation need to pay attention to our Latino brothers and sisters. Oh, you don't want them to work here? Okay, ain't none of us gonna work here. And then you got little Susie Homemaker on TikTok with Sally Sue down the street talking about, oh well, they don't have to work. We don't need them. We're proud white America. We'll
Wait,
go
but we
out there
gotta
and do.
remember too.
But
We
you
gotta
know,
remember too that some of the Latinos who are Puerto Rican, they're just as racist as other white
That
people,
part.
oh
and
well, yeah,
that they're
because
racist.
they
All these
think they
laws
are white.
against Spanish people, and they're still going for Republicans. It's mind-boggling. Like
Let me-
they literally are against you, but you're sitting there. Like the leader of the Proud Boys is Puerto Rican.
Yo,
I live in New Mexico. I don't mean to cut you off, Coco.
oh, you good.
I live in New Mexico, and during the time of the Trump administration, when it was time for Trump and Biden to go and vote, and pretty much the way politics works in this country, you have to pick the lesser of the two evils, and that means pick the person you think represents your interests more than the other one, because they're all corrupt. Let's just be honest, they're all corrupt. And
Mm-hmm.
if you think that the president has any real power, I'm gonna need you to think again, because he doesn't. Our judicial system is a threefold power, and Congress runs it all. So that being said, where was I going with that? Because you lost me. um
It's the little
it's
races that people need to be caring about, not the presidential. You don't vote just for
right.
presidential.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
Okay,
smaller races that count more for what's happening in your state.
That's
that
true.
that part that part but where I was going with that was is I was
Hmm.
working at this hotel, and my general manager, she is well, she was, when she was my general manager, was Mexican. She was from Mexico. Nothing wrong with her. I loved her. We was great until it was time for election. And then I found out she was a proud Trump supporter.
Oh Lord.
And she was like, oh, well, Trump is this, and oh, Trump is that, and oh, Trump is this. And I said, honey, Trump don't care about you. He only cares about one color, and that's green, and how much he can get of it.
And if he can throw any ethnicity under the bus for it, he will.
Exactly. And I told her, I said, you sitting up here, because I looked at her, I said, are you even legal? She said, huh? I said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let me
The
ask this
wall.
question again.
The
Are
wall.
you even legal? Well, why would you ask me that? Because, see, I walk around here and I listen to conversations that happen in this back office. You think I'm some happy, dumb, naive, middle aged, gay black man at your front desk. Oh, no, honey, I'm soaking you all in. And you're the joke of the day, because he don't want you. He talking about send all y'all back where y'all came from, and he don't give a
Hmm.
damn if you was born here or not. But you run on down there because he's building that wall, and he gonna use you and your people to build it.
Let me tell you, it never ceases to infuriate me seeing individuals be so ready to stomp on their ethnicity and their culture in favor of being a do boy, a do girl, or do person
A
for
pick
the white
me.
power structure.
Token
A
minority.
pick me. Yes,
Mm,
a pick me. And it happens in all
I like that term.
ethnicities. And I've seen that. I've had people call me a pick me because I'm, look, we all ethnicities have some bullshit that they perpetuate. And I'm the person who's going to speak on all of it. And where I
Yeah.
play into that too. Y'all have seen me call myself out on thousands. I don't know how many times, and I'm going to continue to do it. So nobody is safe when it
No.
comes out of my mouth. Ain't nobody safe, including myself. So
See,
it just kills me how it is it's sad too. I do get it to a certain degree. I get it because it becomes exhausting to continuously fight just to be who you are naturally, and have to continue to fight just to exist, and to fight to be okay existing. That's fucking exhausting. It takes years off of our life. It takes so much enjoyment away from so many different things. And also it limits a lot of us in ways that we wish that we couldn't. We can sit here and say all day that, all the black people about this and all the black people did that. The system is literally set up so that we will not prevail. Like, it has to be snatched down. It has to be blown up and rebuilt for us to get where we need to go. There is no modifying this system. This system needs to
To the
go.
point where
There
we
is
we
no.
become the system that's keeping each other back as well, though.
I do agree.
Because when I work in foster care, and the higher I've gone up, is the more I see that, okay, now I'm at a time where, a lot of times we say, the system have tore black families apart. And but I'm watching that the workers are now black. So what is the it's literally have set it up where we are harming our own people.
Yes,
Where
and
we are
have been
looking
for
down on the
years.
people we're supposed to be helping.
I totally agree.
Who do you think is who are the housing inspectors? They're black people. So it's to the point where we have generated enough that they have systematically created a system that even with black people in it, they become the same people that are harming their own community, and they
Yes.
don't see it. They don't understand how they look down on each other, how they don't uplift each other, how they are always in competition with each other. Like when I was getting promoted, it was black people looking at me like, what's so good about her?
Yep.
It wasn't the
because
white people.
because we've been taught that, and I don't mean to cut you off, but
No,
we
yeah.
have in the system that we all agree is a broken system. We have been taught to self hate.
Which is
We
part of the
have been
system.
right. We have been taught that, for lack of a better term, the house nigga is better than the field nigga.
Hmm.
And if it ain't white, it ain't right.
Uh, it's been bred
Well,
into
where
our
we hold
culture so
standards
much.
for ourselves, yeah, if it doesn't look like how the Brady Bunch looked on TV, that it's no good.
Right.
Hmm.
If that experience is not what we saw on what we grew up and been fed images as we were younger on how a perfect family looks, how is living the American dream supposed to look? And it's different. Experiences are to be experienced by difference. Like you don't
Right.
have to follow somebody and think that that's the life.
Right.
You
No.
know, there was a period in time where everybody wanted to be a damn rapper. Now everybody want to be a damn gamer or
Yeah.
streamer. It's like, come
Right.
on. It's like, come on. You can live an experience by your damn self. Like your life is your life. Your experience is your experience.
Yes.
We have so many people already. Be yourself. You
That.
know?
Because, well, we as a people have been stripped of our identity and our individuality.
Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. All right, so Lisa, you plucked the nerve right there. That is something that I see so heavily in our communities. I'm not trying to knock nobody, but I see a lot of people needing to belong to a group of people who don't really serve their best interest, who aren't really making them live up to their potential, not people that they need to be with. And it's all under the guise of, let me have something to cling to, let me have a group to be with, instead of them embracing who they are. I see this play out on so many levels, especially in places like Second Life. I see it perpetually. People get burned so hard because they lean so far to the light, right, when they need to be somewhere in the center or to the left. You know what I'm saying? I know this because I have done it on a few occasions. We're not gonna go into that, but what I'm
No.
saying is that I'm really embracing my singleness of person. And I think that's something that's sorely lacking in ethnic communities, especially black. I can't speak about nobody else because I'm a black woman. So I'm gonna
Okay.
focus it there. Um
Okay.
and I feel like that's a really big issue too. Like we've been fed that okay, it's weird. This weird duality of individuality is beautiful and wonderful, but in reality, when we look at society, individuality is not rewarded the way that society pretends to appreciate individuality unless it yields dividends. And if unless it brings up money, people don't tend to respect it. So they go out and do their single individual, I'm a my own person thing, get beat the fuck down, and because they're living authentically out loud, making mistakes out loud and apologizing out loud, and they get beat the fuck down and they can't take the pressure and they retreat back into these groups and cliques. And I feel like that's a really big problem within our community as well.
Mm.
Ugh. Oh my gosh.
What
Long
what happened? What happened to it was okay if you were alone because there's a difference between being alone and being lonely. Because
Yes.
I can be alone, but I ain't never lonely.
Same here. I got enough of my own. I got enough
Yeah.
love to myself. So it's just I don't need that. I don't mean to cut you off. It's just I feel you on that. I
Mhm.
really
Yeah.
do because I feel you and what Coco just said because I'm like we have enough to not feel that, and then
Hmm.
at the same time experience new things.
Yes.
Like I don't got time for the lukewarmness. I ain't got time for the whole side eye just because I like asparagus. Come on now.
Right.
Okay.
Y'all, I
I
wanna.
I like Brussels sprouts, but you don't. But now something wrong with me. What?
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay.
What?
Lords, y'all, I wanna.
So
I
you
can.
don't eat Brussels sprouts? Anyway, that's so we could just transverse off into so many different
Yes.
sectors and.
I know.
I'm,
That's why I'm gonna slide in right here. Yo, I could sit here and talk to y'all for another 3 hours because this conversation is everything. This is why I do these videos. It's to have real conversations that a lot of people ain't having, and really tap things. People are so afraid to talk about this shit. Do I sometimes worry about, am I going to get punched in the chest for saying something that really a lot of people if not acknowledge is a very close proximity to the truth? Absolutely. But guess what? I'm not going to let that shit stop me. How about that? Because these are conversations again that need to happen. And I want to thank you, Uncle Mikhail. I want to thank you, my
it's
dearest
gonna be good.
Melistopheles. I want to thank you, Sis Sa. Y'all know I'm gonna hit y'all back up for discussions later on and stuff because this was dope. I really enjoyed this.
I'd
Anybody
like
got
it
any
if
shout
you.
outs that they want to give before I close the video?
I want to give a shout out to Diamond Homes. I want to give a shout out to SL for what's this community that y'all living in?
SL Norway.
Nova Scotia, Norway. I says Nova Scotia, ain't that nothing? Give a
That's
shout out because like this is a part of Second Life I never even knew existed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to give a shout out to the three women sitting at this table, even though one of them's dressed up like a cat. Okay. You do your feline thing, yeah. So, but what I'm saying, I want to give a shout out to y'all because it's rare anymore that I get to sit with a group of strong black women that are not scared to speak their mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
me being gay ain't got nothing to do with it.
Right.
Oh, I'm a cut up and act a fool because that's what I do. But I'm just saying, this has been a pleasure and a blessing to me. I'm gonna need sister over there to learn how to drive that car, um, because I can't be walking down the street getting hit like I did in real life. So,
Yeah.
you know, but no, I just want to give a shout out to everybody that I know, whether it's good or bad, because you have taught me something inside this reality and outside of it. You
Amen.
know, like you and I have talked. I'm recently going through something. I don't even hate that young man. I actually thank him because you've opened my eyes to something else that I was not aware of.
Yeah.
I was aware of it, but not on just surface level.
Right.
But now I see the depths of where people will go in a situation like that.
I,
So
I felt that. I felt all of
but
that.
I would, but I would love for us to have a discussionship on the relationships in life.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
definitely. That's yo. It's happening. As they come to me, I pop them out. But I was actually going to talk about relationships before this. But then I was
Okay.
like, no, we got to talk about this because this is on my spirit. I needed to talk about it. So,
I mean, I think it would help, especially a lot of people in this reality. We all come to Second Life for our own reasons.
right?
Okay, and then we forget that we're actually dealing with people on the other side of these avatars, these computer generated cartoons. Okay, we forget, and we have to realize that these are still people, and the expectations that we're holding them under, they're not obligated by. But never once should you short sight yourself and bend, twist, and give and forget who you are for the sake of another.
Yeah, I
So I'm gonna
totally
shut
agree.
up now because I'm thirsty.
Okay, no problem. And no, I totally agree with everything you said. Sai, you had any shout outs? Mello, y'all good?
I'm just gonna say I'm glad that you invited me and opened this up because sometimes you want to open up yourself to other experiences or opportunities, and I'm glad I had a chance to speak out, and I'm glad I got a chance to meet Kale, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Kale,
ma'am.
Kale, and Sa, and yeah, I like seeing new perspectives and I like hearing them, because there's not just one. So
Yeah.
I really enjoyed myself.
Yay! I'm so
Okay.
happy to hear that.
Yay. I got some kitty kibble bits for you.
All right, y'all. We had to pause the video. You see a big old jump. It's because we had to stop and have an impromptu light session so we could calm down. I'm going to put some information at the bottom of the video about this really cool weed system, a little puff puff pass stoner system that my sister and I are privy to experience and want to share with everyone. But that being said, we're going to slide to left and say thank you for sticking around and just listening to what we had to say and how we feel and all that good stuff. Thank you, Unk. Thank you, Sa. Thank you, Mello Von Stoffeles. Um, and I guess the last thing I really want to say is that what's been said here is not to incriminate anyone intentionally, but to just point out the truth about the systems in place and how they impact us negatively and why it is we feel what we feel. Truthfully, you can be a part of solutions or you can be part of problems, or you can be a part of the truth that helps bring solutions. I can't sit here and say that I'm trying to be a solution, but I sure am about the damn truth. So, that being said, thank you for watching and please take care. Bye. Say bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Mew mew. Mew
Say
mew mew.
meow.
Meow meow.
Meow.